As we've done in all of our past trainings, Zach, Kara, and Amelia take care of the setup, while Leanna and I find an open area to train. I still dread whenever it's time to train, as I haven't shown any progress. It's starting to feel like a useless chore at this point.
Ready?
No. I reluctantly nod, but I guess I'm trying anyways.
Alright, just like we've practiced, focus on channeling through the manipulator.
As I've done so many times before, I try to do exactly what Leanna says. Just like all of my previous attempts, it doesn't work. No surprise there.
You've got this. You just have to focus.
I'm focusing. Stop ruining my concentration. Jeez. I strain with all of my might, simultaneously trying to figure out what exactly I'm supposed to be focusing on, and wondering if this is all actually bogus anyway. Leanna watches me intently, waiting for the spark of magic which doesn't appear. I let go and breathe out in frustration.
Try again.
No, I don't want it anymore. Have we considered the possibility that only humans from Terra can cast? Fair point. Leanna's voice is firm.
Just try again.
With a heavy sigh, I bring up my hand again and try again. As expected, nothing happens. This is completely pointless. I lower my hand. Maybe I'm just not meant to cast. What was that? Suddenly, a strong gust of wind pushes me off my feet and knocks me to the ground. Oof. Leanna glares at me, a fierce look on her face.
Get up!
I don't wanna. You're mean now. I cough as I catch my breath and push myself to my feet. What the hell? Leanna raises her arm again. Don't you fight me, woman.
Deflect this!
No. Freeze, dodge, deflect. Deflect? Let's see. Well, freeze is just kind of... What? Dodge, I just hear Piccolo from DBZ Abridged just kind of going, dodge! And deflect? Well, we'll go with deflect. What does she mean by deflect? I can't use my sword to stop a gust of wind. I end up taking another hit and sway unsteadily on my feet.
I said deflect!
Still trying to figure out what you meant by that. I balk at the sternness in her tone. Her entire demeanor has changed from a calm and patient teacher to a dangerous Mage-Knight. What's gotten into you? She ignores me and aims another shot of magic. This time I jump out of the way, but she is relentless. She lines up another shot. I don't know what you mean by deflect. Leanna sends another gust after me, which I only narrowly dodge. Before I can get my bearings, another shot of magic comes at me. And then another. Would you just... And another. Hold on. And another. My breathing is short and anger warms my blood. She's shooting off wind blasts so quickly I don't have time to think or move. Her attacks are relentless and keep knocking me down. Another gust of wind soars towards me. Leanna, stop! I take that blast, and although it's just as powerful as the others, this time I maintain my footing.
That's not deflecting.
She frowns in concentration as she ramps up another attack. Then she lets loose another gust of wind. I try to block it with my arms, but this blast is stronger than the last, and it hurls me into the air. I crash painfully on the ground, but force down the pain and get back onto my feet. My breathing is ragged, and my body is sore. Leanna is already channeling another attack. I don't know what's gotten into her, but I can't keep taking these hits. As she launches another attack, the anger bubbles inside of me and boils over. I throw up my hand and feel the anger shoot down my arm and out of my glowing manipulator in a gust of wind, which knocks the blast away. Hey, we did it. Just needed to get angry. Leanna gasps and drops her attack.
You did it!
I stare at my arm, too bewildered to even comprehend what is happening. Suddenly, Leanna is laughing loudly. As things calm down, I notice the rest of the group is already here. They must have heard the commotion.
He casted?
Leanna grins broadly.
He did! He finally cast!
That's amazing!
Okay, now how do I do it again? That wind magic, it came from me. The realization slowly dawns on me. I casted that. My eyes grow wide, and I split into a huge grin. Yes! I can't believe I did it! Leanna's grinning from ear to ear. Even Zach cracks a small smile and nods. Amelia watches us curiously.
I assume you used the technique which we had previously discussed.
And now I went from joyous to hating you all of a sudden. Wait, what? Leanna looks sheepish and refuses to make eye contact. What technique? The high from my casting begins to wear off, and I remember the mix of anger and confusion I felt from the attacks. You mean you guys thought it would be a good idea to randomly just start attacking me? Leanna shakes her head, looking a mixture of worried and guilty. Amelia calmly responds.
Indeed.
I hate you a little more now. I didn't expect her to so bluntly agree. Why?
You were making no progress on your training, and I believed a new strategy was necessary. One such method is to utilize the ingrained need for survival. When placed in high stress, dangerous situations, the human body will use all its resources to ensure survival.
You're insane, you know that?
By putting you in such a situation, your response to protect yourself enabled you to tap into the manipulator and channel energy.
I consider what Amelia said. Everything happened so fast, but once I realized there was no way to talk my way out of Leanna's attacks, I knew there was only one way out.
I'm really sorry. Amelia felt this was the best way for you to learn since you didn't seem to be getting it my way.
I want to be mad at you. I really want to be mad at you, but I can't stay mad at you. She trails off.
I hope I wasn't too hard on you.
It's okay. I get it. Please be gentle next time. It was effective. You know, we can just go with it was effective. I'll agree it was. Obviously, I'm not that happy to have been surprised by this, but I will admit that it was an effective method. Leanna looks hopeful.
Does that mean you forgive me?
We'll see. I nod. She smiles as she sighs in relief. So what now? Should I try it again?
Are you feeling up to it? If you need to take a break, we can do that.
I think I should be okay. As the words leave my mouth, my arm stings and I feel a wet spot on my elbow. When I look down, I notice blood on my shirt. Leanna gasped.
You're bleeding.
Oh, would you look at that? I guess so. I twist my arm, trying to see the damage. Huh. You don't say.
Hold on, I brought bandages.
It's really no big deal. She races back to camp and grabs a roll of gauze from her pack. When she returns, she kneels beside me and reaches for my arm. I move my arm out of her grasp. Oh, stop trying to be a tough guy. I'm okay, really. This is just a scratch. Based on the level of bleeding, I can tell it's a bit more than a scratch. So can Leanna. She shakes her head.
It's my fault you got hurt.
Without taking no for an answer, she grabs my arm and takes a look. This time, I don't bother resisting. Gently, she dabs at the blood with a damp cloth. I try not to wince from the sting.
I'm sorry. I'll try to be gentle.
You're fine. Her hands are warm and delicate, and for a moment, I forget what she's doing and can only feel her touch. Her gentle fingers deftly wrap the gauze around my arm. After she secures it, she lets her hands fall back in her lap. I feel a split second of disappointment as I let my own arm fall beside me.
There, good as new.
Didn't have to do that. Kiss it better, please. Thanks. I mean, you didn't have to do that. Thanks, but you didn't have to do all of that for me, for just a cut.
It's my fault you got hurt, so it was only fitting for me to help treat you too.
I nod and she smiles in response. I get to my feet and we return to camp. After we've all had a chance to eat and relax, we get ready for bed. Still got a lot of traveling to do. For once, as soon as I lay down my head, exhaustion overtakes me and I fall right asleep. Hey, we finally did it though. The casting's done. Now let's see if we can replicate it at another time and at will. We wake up the next morning and continue our travels. After my last burst of magic, I've tried to replicate that feeling of casting. Although I'm finally seeing improvement, I still can't cast as well as I hope. The result of my casting is just a weak tendril of magic, but at least it's something. Leanna's spirits have been lifted too, and she continues my training with renewed enthusiasm. A couple of days pass before the trees become denser as we reach the woods. We must be on the right track. At first, the walk is easy as the trees line a well-worn path, but the deeper into the forest we traverse, the more careful we become of our step as the wild undergrowth tangles our legs. The Pongo wobbles unsteadily over the roots and debris on the ground, then hops onto my shoulder, the right place for him to be.
Boy.
Well, the canopy overhead thickens, blocking up much of the sunlight. Leanna glances uneasily around her. Noticing Leanna, Zack glances around too and becomes grave.
I think we stumbled into the Forest of Grieving.
Leanna balks.
Grieving?
The Pongo looks concerned.
Boy?
Zack nods. Carl looks curiously at Zack, then watches Leanna gaze suspiciously around her. She seems to put two and two together and grins mischievously.
Isn't that the one with all the trapped souls?
Leanna's eyes widen and her voice trembles.
Trapped souls?
Is every forest in this place haunted? Go along. He's teasing Spook her. Well, she's beaten me up enough, so I'm not gonna go along with it, nor am I gonna spook her, because I'll get hit again. Because every forest haunted will get me made fun of, but At this point, I'm going to ruin his fun. Don't listen to them. They're just teasing you. Leanna blinks.
What?
No, this is real. I mean, Kara, you've heard of it, right?
He's trying way too hard. Kara nods.
Yep, the souls get trapped because...
Leanna puts her hands over her ears.
La 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 la! I don't want to hear this!
Amelia puts her hands on her hips.
Evidently, Zack, you were misinformed, as there is no such place as the Forest of Grieving.
Way for Amelia to be the party pooper.
No, there definitely is a Forest of Grieving. Right, Kara?
Absolutely.
If that is true, it is certainly not here.
Leanna pouts, her face bright red.
You guys are the worst!
I tried to tell you they were being terrible people. She rushes closer to Amelia and pointedly ignores Zack and Kara, who pretend to hide their amusement. The Pangos shoots the two of them dirty looks.
Poi! That's right, Pango.
She scoops him into her arms and hugs him into her chest. Pango doesn't protest. Now I'm still mad at you. We continue to walk in silence. As we venture further within the forest, the air feels thick and heavy. The canopy thins out, but the trees themselves have knotted and thick bark, making them seem very old. They brighten with an ethereal blue-green luminescence. Does anyone else feel that? Look at the fireflies or stuff that just floating up in the air. The Pango squirms in Leanna's grasp and hops out before exploring the forest.
This place is loaded with magical energy.
No wonder he's so excited. Is that why it's glowing?
The natural formation of crystals is what gives it its coloration.
I take my time admiring the natural beauty of the place. It feels like a scene from a fairy tale. Peeking up from behind a tree is a small pink Pango. My Pango hops over to her, and when she realizes she's been spotted, she hops out into view and tilts her head curiously.
Boy? Boy!
The pink Pango looks over at Amelia and gives her a wide grin. Leanna gasps as it hops closer to her.
Boy! How cute!
She does love Pangos. She reaches out towards the pink Pango, who hops into her arms.
Oh, she likes me!
Leanna squeals excitedly and hugs her close.
Boy?
There's another one. Another Pango peeks up from behind the bush and hops over to Leanna. Her grin grows even wider. She opens her arms and the Pango hops in, much to Leanna's delight.
Another Pango! Boy!
I love how it's just more Pango.
Boy!
Another Pango.
Boy!
More Pango again.
What?
Even more Pangos pop out from behind the trees and bushes and begin to surround Leanna, who watches them with joy.
So many Pangos!
I think this might actually break her. She reaches out to all of them and they each openly receive her affection.
Boy? Boy?
That is adorable. She cannot contain herself. That is great. So many Pangos. The chorus of poise increases as even more emerge, and soon even Leanna is overwhelmed by the sheer number of Pangos. Zack stands as close to the edge of the trees as possible and as far away from the Pangos as possible. His hands hover protectively over his dischargers as he eyes the Pangos suspiciously. Amelia moves from Pango to Pango, seemingly studying the variations. Kara joins in and plays with the Pangos closest to her. As even more Pangos filter out into the clearing, Leanna's eyes fill with tears.
Too many Pangos!
She's broken. Oh no, Leanna, are you okay? Her smile is still as wide as ever as she kneels on the ground, holding as many Pangos as she can in her arms, but the tears continue to flow. She speaks between sobs.
I can't hug them all!
Kara comes over and puts a comforting arm around her.
It's okay. Just hug as many as you can.
Leanna sniffles and nods. My Pango looks up at me with a wondering gaze. Stay by my Pango, join in on the fun. Ugh, too many Pangos. No such thing. Right now, I'm just gonna stay by my guy. He's the only one for me. I look down at him and smile. Don't worry. You're the only Pango I need. He beams and hops into my arms, then nuzzles me affectionately. From among the Pangos emerges a Pango larger than the others. He has a twist of leaves which he wears around his head, and as he passes, all the other Pangos seem to settle down in reverence. He pauses in front of Leanna.
Boy?
The Pango King. Leanna blinks.
Boy.
That was a long string of poise. We come in peace, we come in poise. Let Leanna do the talking. I'm gonna let her do the talking. She seems to be the expert on Pango stuff. I certainly have no idea what's going on. My Pango steps up to the larger Pango and speaks in a series of poise.
Boy.
The larger Pango seems surprised, then nods.
Boy.
That was a loud thud as he moves. He turns around and hops deeper into the forest. My Pango faces us.
Boy.
He tilts his head to indicate the forest, then follows the larger Pango. I think that Poi was this way. Should we follow them? Zack shrugs, but Leanna nods.
Yeah, I think we should. At the very least, we can't leave him.
What if he's leading us to danger?
It's a Pango, Zack.
It would seem that the other Pangos respect the larger Pango. He may be the equivalent of a king or other authority figure. If he wished us harm, we would already know.
Besides, the most harm a Pango can do is cuddle us.
We better get a move on before we lose them. We follow the Pangos further into the forest. Some of the other Pangos tag along, popping in and out of the trees. I've never seen so many Pangos in one place before. What are they all doing here? Eventually, we stop in front of a crumbling stone structure.
Boy.
The Pango leader nods.
Boy.
It would seem the Pangos have escorted us to the temple we seek.
Based on the background, I would agree. How did they know? Can they understand us?
More than likely, our Pango friend inquired as to the reason for the migration of so many Pangos in one area. He must have been curious about their source of energy, which just happens to be the Earth Temple.
I narrow my eyes at Amelia. This seems very coincidental. Do you speak Pango?
No, but that rationale should be common sense.
Whatever you say, kiddo. Zack snorts, then tries to cover it up. I look back at the temple. It clearly hasn't been touched in a long time, and half of it is falling apart. Is it safe to go in there? Kara seems excited.
Only one way to find out.
She marches towards the temple.
But what about the Pangos? Won't they be upset?
Especially considering we intend to absorb the energy.
The temples were built over areas of naturally high concentrations of energy, so the temples continuously amass energy at an accelerated rate. Therefore, the amount which we will absorb will be replenished fast enough to not adversely affect the Pangos ecosystem.
Why don't people live near these pockets of continuous energy?
The only energy we are able to manipulate is extracted from crystals. This form of energy, which resides in the air, cannot be manipulated or absorbed by humans.
She pauses.
Humans of Terra, that is. In contrast, Pangos are able to absorb all forms of energy, including airborne.
Which explains why they're all here. I see. Either way, it sounds like the Pangos will be okay. Leanna nods and we follow Kara. The Pangos make no move to stop us, but continue to watch us curiously.
Come on!
We approach the temple's entrance, and we'll check out this temple next time. I'm going to end the episode here. Did not expect Leanna to be broken by that many Pangos, but not at all surprised. But, as always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to let me know by hitting the like button down below or leaving a comment. It really does help me out. Feel free to follow me on social media at Twitter and Instagram. I'll leave the links to those in the description down below. And if you're new to the channel, or have not done so already, make sure to unleash your power by hitting the subscribe button down below today and ring that little bell to know when a new video is uploaded. And I will see all you heroes in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.